Oh, wait. There we go. Hey guys, how are you? Merry Christmas. Hi. Hi, how's everybody? Merry Christmas. How are you guys? Is everything closed around there when you take a drive? Is everything closed? Gas stations, grocery stores, everything? Or where you live, is there stuff open still? Just wondering. It varies from town to town, but usually Christmas Day and Christmas evening, everything's closed. Everybody's home. How is everybody? So I'm going to start the stream today where I'm going to be doing complimentary. So I usually do a little free something when I start. Tank is saying some spots are open, huh? Are you asking me? You're answering me. Okay, spots. When I heard your question, I thought you meant my reading list. I get it. You're answering my question. Okay. Some spots are open. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, some towns they're just kind of isolated and stuff. And some places have stuff open. So, that's cool. But I guess I don't know, I think Chinese food restaurants and stuff, I think they stay open. Yeah, because their big holiday is the Chinese New Year. Oh, trail rides, nice. Usually around this neck of the woods, carnivals and things like that, rodeos and carnivals and stuff, they take place in the fall, in the autumn. So like November, October, maybe like the end of September it starts. Yeah, that's cool. Are you gonna go to the trail rides, or you don't like that? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we don't have those anymore. There used to be a couple of those, and I thought it was bought out by Red Robin. A lot of yeah. You're like, no, I'm tired of them. Oh, that's cute. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting questions. I was caught up in a fun conversation. Okay, so what I'm going to do when I start my stream, I'm a psychic and astrologer, tarotist. So my list is open if you want, love reading and stuff. But I always start my stream with some free stuff. So sometimes it'll be three tarot card answers. Sometimes I'll do crystal ball, scrying, all kinds of things. So today what I'm going to do is complimentary. These are crystal dice. So because it's crystals, it's a lithomancy, but because it's dice, it's astrology divination. Okay. So I'm going to be doing these. If you've never heard of it, don't worry about it. Just ask your question. And I'm going to give you a free little answer. It's kind of like mini reading. Okay, so just make sure, your question is not too complicated, because if I need to use astrology or look 30 years into the future or 20, obviously it has to be tailored to what I'm doing. So let's start off. I saw Katrina. Let's see. Katrina, is Marlon still interested in you? I would say that you seem more caught in what you maybe was in the beginning. So like maybe the first emotion. So women have these interesting ways of categorizing like early love, beginning love, when things got more serious. So whatever it is that made an impression on you, like maybe the beginning of the crush or something like that, is kind of what you're holding on to, and it's almost like you're about to get into this emotional state of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but you're not there yet. You're trying to, because I see that you're trying to make yourself kind of not feel that invested, but it's still there. With him, I see there's still a very big connection between both of you, very much. But unfortunately, it seems like he has a shift in a new direction. And it seems like for him, the way that he's thinking, the way that he's prioritizing is, I'm going to put my focus on money. I'm going to put my focus on career. I'm going to put my focus on the things that are, yeah. So this is a person that is, I would say, checked out. I wouldn't say 100%, but I would say a very large amount. So based on that, I hope that gives you a little bit of clarity. Obviously, there's a deeper story, but, I'm just giving you like the quick answer as best I can. Quick, okay? All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Let's see. Key is asking. Oh, and by the way, spam away, guys, because obviously I can't be like in tune with the reading and then reading the stream. I'm not a lizard. Lizard, half my brain could be hunting and the other half sleeping. Never mind. Anyway, bad joke. Okay, so let's move on. Just spam away so I can see it, okay? All right, let's see. James, will you reconcile with M in the new year? Okay. I was going to say something else, but sometimes people ask questions for someone else disguised as someone else, and sometimes people ask things out of a different account. Whatever. I'm not getting caught up in that. Let me just answer your question, okay? Because I'm seeing a lot of overlaying energy here. The big answer is reconciliation at this time. No. I know you asked about the entire year. I don't answer entire year questions with this method. But to give you an idea, no, this has to be worked out the right way. There's a lot of ego. No, the answer is no. The reconciliation, no. In fact, this can continue to lead to distance. All right, it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. That's why readings are important, like a tarot reading to look into emotions. There's a reason, because there's a strategy and there's a lot of feelings at play. But if you have to force a complicated situation with a yes and no, I would say absolutely not. Okay, let's see. Arabelle, will you end up dating someone new in January? Sounds like you already have somebody in mind, but all right. Well, there's 2 people that show up in this reading. Actually, strike that, 3 people. 1 person is very much in the distance. Maybe you liked them and they didn't like you. I don't know. There's a whole thing there. I'm not going to go there in the past. If you wanted to with tarot, we'd open it up, but whatever. Let's move forward. The 2 people. So 1 person is almost like, I don't know if you're ignoring them or what the hell that was. There's a person that is interested in you, whether you're dealing with that whole energy thing or not. And then there's someone who really wants to, let's just say, go to the bakery with you. So this is either you being coy or maybe not addressing that energy yet. But the answer is more than one. More than one. What you decide to do, I don't know. That goes into a whole other thing. But if they're interested in you, yeah, those are the energies. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, James. That's rough. That's rough. But you know something? If somebody doesn't want to be in your life, maybe they don't belong there. Okay, let's see. Shelby, will you and Parker be in a relationship in the new year? Didn't I answer that one already? I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting confused because okay. Okay. If I didn't, and you need me to ask again, go ahead and put it down. All right, sweetheart. Thank you. All right. Janet, does David still have genuine feelings for you? Okay. This is about love lost. This is weird because this brings up a past, a heavy past, and it brings up a past with the person you're asking about. The person you're asking about, the answer is no. Not at this time. No. There's a lot there in the past, but past is the past, I guess. All right, let's see. Joanna, will Bjorn reply to your message? I don't care about those things. What matters is what he feels. Is it gonna? Let's get to the big picture. You know, it's not treating spiritual questions like an ATM. I don't like that. What are you getting at? Is he interested in you? Are you gonna date? Let's get to the nitty gritty. Mariella, it's completely over with Skol. Okay, let's find out. No, he's going to try to reach out to you again. But let me tell you, the love has suffered because of whatever crap he has not gotten over, or whatever, this is a issue that he's had, whatever this is that, remember, it's not a tarot reading, so I'm not giving you details, but I'm giving you like the energy of it. The answer is no, he's not done, you're not done. There's going to be another attempt. But the pattern and cycle continues unless you address it. And by the way, don't go in the wrong direction. Don't go for the wrong person just to leave, okay? All right, let's see. Reba, will 2026 be better for you? Okay, we'll check for the beginning energy of it. I'm not going to do a whole reading with this. This is not how you do it. Does not apply, but I will check for the energy of the beginning. All right, better in general. Okay, will anything supersede average, like health, wealth, love? Okay, I got you. Yeah, love. Love, don't be too picky. You know, don't be harsh on the person. Yeah, love. Money, rough. Love good. Okay, if you work with it, the person will try hard. So if you're in a relationship, just means embrace the energy of the person, the vibe. If you're not in one, this will end up in one. So love is good energy, but there can be something disruptive. So all I'm trying to tell you is find a way to love things that money can't buy. You know, like try to focus on that, because I do see that money is rough, and because of that whole thing, it can put a damper on the things that are priceless, is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. Thank you so much, guys. So let's see. Jasmine, does Chevy want to ask you to be his girlfriend? Not at this time. I do see that there's going to be an intensity with the way that the relationship continues, but this person has secrets, and I don't mean to sound like, you know, something creepy or scary or nothing. I don't mean it like that. But there are a lot of things that the person has on reserve. So for example, let's say it's revealing that they're financially in trouble, or pretending they're not, and then they are, or there's something complicated with family and money, or there's something preventing, like the way the person is painting a picture on the outside. There's a reason why they're not very forthcoming on what's on the inside. You'll have to figure that out. You will, obviously, it's very obvious. The love energy is, I feel that this person doesn't understand really how to give you what you want. I feel that they, and this is sometimes where, you know, zodiac signs, sometimes they clash. They're drawn to each other, but they clash because this is a communicative issue. So, for example, if you're a Leo and you're very romantic versus someone who maybe is a knucklehead, so, that's just an example. There's also something here where a person, I believe this part is you, could be him, but I feel it's you, is one of you. There's a very bad experience with a love that broke. So this could have been a divorce or something. And because of that, I think the person's different. And I think that if that is allowed to cast a shadow on something new, it can prevent growth. It can also be him personifying his fear on you because of his past. So that's where it gets tricky. But the answer is yes. I do see that, it's going to pick up. But the boyfriend thing, I just don't see it be so easy right now. All right. Let's see. Brian, will Brian open up to you tomorrow? Okay, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't lead it. You can't lead the direction of it. You got to let it be natural. And themes of jealousy can pop up as well. All right, let's see. Chris, will Reggie ever try to give your relationship another shot? Yes, but it's not going to be successful. That doesn't mean give up. That just means that that's the first obstacle that's going to present itself. You can also be making very soon the wrong choice. Trying to push an agenda or you have a different agenda than he does. Like you run at a different pace. So if you don't get the right answer now, like kind of like a backup plan. This is a bit Gemini. Are you a Gemini? Tina, are you a Gemini? You're Scorpio. Do you have Gemini anywhere? Scorpio, Leo? That's fine. But do you have any Gemini? Your moon, your rising? Are you a stellium? Are you a Venus Gemini? I don't know if you know your chart. It's not fair to you because sometimes I ask astrology questions and the person doesn't know the answer. So don't worry about that. The point is, to answer your question, I think that your way of solving your problem can make it worse. So I think patience and communication is the situation here. Aquarius moon, okay. It's an interesting combination. It's a challenge for you. But yeah, don't give up. Just handle it the way that you know that you need to progress with him. Okay, let's see. Jane, does the friend you're currently on a trip with have feelings for you? Okay. No. No, and there's something with them, not that, like, there's something unfinished with them and related to somehow where they work, by the way. There's something unfinished. So either they had a lover and broke it off, or this person's still crushed on by the person that I'm seeing here. It's not current, but it is, No, don't mistake something, you know, I guess physical for something emotional. I don't see it. No. No. But another thing too is you're also being misread, if that helps, honey. The way that you are read, the interpretation here of how you seem is you're also in a hurry to determine something. And you move a lot faster than the person. So if you do want something to, let me find something out. Give me a second. Yeah. No. The answer is no. There's not going to be a lifeline to that love connection the way that you anticipate it. All right? All right. Did I get to everybody? Did anybody else have a question? I'm sure I missed a lot. I remember my things aren't modded, guys, so there's nobody else reading the stuff for me. So if I miss what you're saying, I'm sorry. And if someone popped in to wish me a Merry Christmas, sometimes I don't see them, so I'm sorry and Merry Christmas. Okay, let's see. Hey, Cass, you said, how are you? You said I ordered? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. How are you? Merry Christmas. Okay, yeah, not a problem. Let me go ahead and do that now. So I do have some people that booked, but and some of them are longer readings. So if you guys are in the stream, you gotta let me know because I'm popping in and out shortly today. So I'll be on longer tomorrow. All right, let me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, who is this on? Okay, sweetheart. Yeah. Who is this? Is this on a particular person, or you can just give me their sign? You know, in other words, who's the mind read on? Okay. Is he going to be taking a flight soon? Is he leaving somewhere? Is he going to be leaving like on a flight or a trip somewhere? Geographically leaving? Hang on a minute. Sorry about the noise of the chair, guys. Anyways, I'll fix it. It just rocks back and forth. Oh. What on earth? Why is he showing up here? Okay. Uncomfortably, the energy that showed up for some odd reason, very, very weird. Well, no, you know what it is? What it is that was the last longest commitment that you had. So maybe that was why. It's the Leo showing up. And he was either thrown out or something. That's odd. That's very odd. No, I get your question. Your question is very much on the focus. I get it, but the Leo showed up, and it just took me on a what the hell, and I know, of course. But still, we have to make sure that it's kind of coming in as kind of, you need to know. So we can't ignore it. I mean, yeah, I know, but you got to realize it was a long commitment. It was a long time, for you to be aware that something's happened. So either he's had a really bad breakup, or I won't dive into it. I want to dive into what you want, obviously, but let's just address what opened the read, which is weird. He's either, I mean, if he was incarcerated, which he's not, but if he was, that means he was let out. If he was thrown out, that could be possible too. There was something very odd about his plans deviating, and for you to be aware of his, yeah, so I don't know. Weird. We'll see if anything comes up, Let me see. Oh, really? Seriously? What did it say? Hang on, let me get it so I can tell you what it said. 1 second. Where's the pause? Yeah. The reason you're being told about Doofus is because he's going to attempt to have eyes on you. So being nosy, trying to see, so all right, let's dive in. You see what I'm saying? Just be aware. I mean, you're already very aware, but it helps to know that, he's smelling around, like a bloodhound. Okay. All right, I'm gonna change gears because this is taking me to the past of where I didn't know what else happened. So apparently, I'm just seeing what you've been through. You've done a lot of effort. You've put a lot of work into this connection with him. Because you got to realize I don't know anything about your story. After So now I'm kind of seeing. I see the amount of very heavy effort that you put, and maybe he even saw your place. Yeah, there's been a lot. It's been quite a complicated ride. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, good for you. But let me go ahead and see what's going on now. Obviously, So don't want to know about that. That's all good and done. All right, let's change gears here. All right. Am I missing a card? Oh, okay. It's bringing up another side issue with both of you, other people. I don't want to know about that. You follow what I'm doing, Cassie? Are you lost in what I'm doing? Do you want me to explain it to you, or you got what I'm doing, or no? Okay. Yeah, I don't want to know about any of that. I mean, I appreciate knowing, but I don't need to. I just want to know what you're doubting in him. Give me a minute, I'll get there. Just a lot of noise surrounding. Not noise, it's informative, but let me just get to the thing. So just give me a minute. You said you I asked if there was anything to doubt because of the ex-wife. That's not it. But I am seeing that you're seeing he's depressed, or he's about to be depressed and he's hiding it. Is that what you're talking about? I see, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But the reading began with a depressive fear. So in other words, a person not wanting to show you, feeling, based on what you're saying, you're feeling something very intense with him because in your mind, you're very focused intuitively, spiritually. Yeah. Intuitively, you know, you're very focused on the love connection that you're feeling at this time, which is fine. There's no, you know, that's good. That's good that you're connected to that. So, so your focus would be like, for example, is he going to propose, or is he going to ask you to move in, or is, you know, does he want a kid? You know, all those important elements that are natural in the beginning of love, and that's fine. But I hit on something different. I hit the root of what's hiding. So for me, I'm going to look at it at a different angle. Okay, so let me find out what the problem is with him. And it looks, this is hidden emotions. So yeah, hang on. And it's emotional and mental. So this is more depressive. So yeah, hang on. And it's emotional and mental. So this is more depressive. Which he tends to a tendency for that without being clinical, you know. So let me get what this is. This is also, so let me explain so far. So the reading is starting off with him being very kind of like taking initiative on planning something. Like, okay, let's do this, or let's do that, or I'm gonna fix this for us, or I'm going to remodel a room, or I want to do this for us, or, you know, there's taking initiative, a lot of leadership, a lot of determination, behavior here, clever, I'm thinking, you know, this feels long-term to me, so that, you know, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I see a depressive tendency that's hidden. So let's find out what that is. It could be him with his work, because you necessarily focusing on the love card is maybe not necessarily just what's in his realm. So hang on. Okay. Okay, so this is bringing up, so far, the subject of a baby. Okay, this is the future. This is what's going to be happening. So you're going to be, so if you're not dealing, let me explain very clearly. I think you already know me as far as like the type of reader that I am. I'm very realistic. So if you're thinking about something very abstract between you and him, and it's very important, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's where I'm going to dive in. Because to me, what catches my attention is the things that can trouble you, stress you, or reward you, bless you, celebrations, you know, good and bad, but the things that are very, very important. This reading is talking about the fact that in the very near future, you're going to be discussing the possibility of a child. So for example, let's say that you tell him about the biological clock, or how much that means, you know, or whatever. This is him potentially being on board for that project. I'm not trying to call it a project, but I don't know what else to call it. You understand what I'm saying to you? Hey, hi, I just noticed. Sorry, guys. I'm in a reading really deep right now, so I can't read and read. So I miss a lot of my social. Hi, Merry Christmas to you and the girls and your doggy. Okay, so this. Let me finish this a minute, and then I'm going to give you the whole story instead of giving you bits and pieces, okay? Give me a minute. Just be a little patient. I know you're very patient. Virgos are very, very patient. I appreciate that. Just give me a minute. There's a lot here. There's what I am, there are concrete pinnacle steps I'm seeing, which I have to address. There's the emotional thing you're talking about. And then there's a lot of things he's feeling and thinking that are going to be unraveling part with the actual story and the actual events. Okay, so emotions, events, they're different things, but they're both reality here. So give me a minute to tie it all together for you. Okay. Okay. Let's focus this way. All right, let's talk about the marriage, okay? That's the big elephant in the living room. He is in tune and on board with that at this time quite a lot. You hear me? The wanting to marry you and wanting to seal the deal is very much being visited emotionally, mentally with him, okay? It very much. The problem is that I see that there is some interruption and difficulty with that. Okay? That doesn't mean it's not a no. It means that it has there's going to be, as that unravels, it's going to be difficult. So not impossible and not no, just very difficult. And it's better that you are aware of that difficulty so that you emotionally know where you stand. So the thing that you're looking at, okay, so there's a moving in subject here, okay? I don't know if that's strongly, I don't know if you have felt that, but the moving in subject is very much on the table at this time. Let me check on, have you already moved in or you're about to, or you're, because this is showing me that this is just very much at the, unraveling at this time. So that it's like in the workings. Yeah. So, but you do realize he does think about it every day, right? I don't know if he's been silent about it, but I don't know if you can feel it. This is something that very much, yeah. So it's a theme. Well, I mean, that's expected because obviously, you're very close, but as far as him thinking about it, and yeah, this is very much in his mind's eye, on his mind. and other themes as well. So this is the heaviness that I'm picking up on. This is the heaviness. Yeah, I'll check on that. But right now, the feeling that I am picking up on that is the strongest, that you are, when he looks at you, from what I'm seeing, it's envisioning the commitment. Right. So that's what I'm seeing. So you're coming to me for a reading to kind of figure out okay, so what I'm finding is that the most important thought is that he is already very, very close to deciding, but he has not decided. It's almost like ready to almost decide. That's the most important thing before any other topic. He's the type of person that would want to live with you. And even if his intention is to be engaged or not, if it was, he would want to live with you first. He wouldn't propose with you living separately. He would want you to be living there with him. And then after a couple of months, he would propose. That's the style of this person at this time in his life. That's what, and that's his MO. That's how he operates as far as his steps. But this is a person that right now with you is thinking of all different topics. Yeah, thinking all different types of topics with you. Like he's heavily thinking, she's here enough times, like why doesn't she? Because I'm seeing that you're not fully living. That's why I asked you. They're fully living there. That's why yeah. So this is the first thing that's the strongest. So if you see that he's like impulsive, like just very, very eager, like almost going to say something, but just doesn't, this is the first thing, is the moving in. I understand that the formality is meeting the kids and all of that, but he believes you're going to be past that with flying colors. So he's not doubting that. He's doubting other things. I'm not doubting. He's stressed and worried about other topics, like the past idiot and her reaction and what she would tell the kids, because if she's pissed off, she's going to pump that into them, and also their reaction. And then the way that he's seen and how comfortable it is when everyone just already knows. So there's so much fear and so much weird territory and all of that he's figuring out. At the same time, there's this deep connection and bond that's continuing. And at the same time, he's thinking of things in your energy, like what you both feel together. Because he's got his life, the work life, he's got his past life, kid life, and then he's got this connection with you, and that has its own life energy source. So you got to realize, then he starts to see the things you want, the things that he knows you have to build together, the things that he expects for it to, unfold. So this is a weird time. Plus, his zodiac sign is, he can kind of put his feelings aside and feel two things at one time. So he's a pretty complicated fellow. So all I'm saying to you is the first thing that I see that's the strongest is that it's tricky, because in some ways he's taking initiative in his life for future changes, which he may or may not have explained to you. There is a change with his business and finances that he has been thinking about. That's why I said this is not all just the love stuff you're feeling. This is a lot about him too. There's something there. He's ready to take the leap. He's a person that thinks things through for a long time. And then, see, Virgo will plan, but Gemini will go back and forth. Libra's tactic on socializing is Gemini's tactic on problem solving, right? So it's more internal. I'm going to think about it through, and then I'm going to go through with it in baby steps and see how I feel, but I'm not sure yet until I'm sure. And a Virgo is, I got to do this, but then these are the steps I have to go through, and I'm going to go through all of them, and then I will finally finish it and get what I want. Very determined. Gemini, not so determined. So 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing sometimes with his own feelings. So there's that. There is some demands that are going to be placed on him soon with his kids. I think maybe the oldest. I don't know. They seem very small, but I don't know what that's all about. That's a small thing. So I don't know if they're going to enter something demanding that they need more of. One of them. That's not a big deal, but it's just a side note here. The depressive part tendencies that he has. This is the part that is very, shining quite a lot in this reading. To let you know, there's a lot there. Whether he shows you or not, there is a great deal there within himself. So this has to do with the way that he is, his fears about the future, about himself, not in a relationship or anything like that, just himself. He's also seeing that the bond with you romantically is growing. So this puts him in a tight spot because it got deeper than he wanted, but yet he wanted it. But then now there's so much that comes with that. There's so much that comes with that territory that, is he really ready? Like, is this happening? This is really happening? This is really happening. Okay, now what? That kind of thing. The next thing is, like I said, there's a baby topic that's going to be coming up. And it's odd how it's mentioned, because this is when he emotionally comforts a situation, like saying, well, if I'm the one in the picture and this is the timing that's there, I'm not going to deny you that. But at the same time, I see that this is going to be a very strange, not stereotypical way that this unfolds in a relationship. So get ready for a very, unconventional way that this is going to be addressed, which I find more positive than negative. Now let's go back to the moving in. This is the strongest feeling. So he knows that that's the next step. And he's trying to figure out a way to kind of like, okay, am I going to do this? Am I going to stick with this? This is real. Once I say it, I can't just do this. One thing about him is that sometimes he can completely turn like the tide. And where Leo had patterns, this person has patterns in a very odd way, because you can feel a certain something and then all of a sudden there's a very strange, you didn't see it coming. So this reading is also saying there's a great deal of positivity here, but when we enter the avenues of his fears and his mind, because this is a mind read, it's not just like a let's see what's going to happen destiny, even though I cover that. This is more exploring a mind. So this part is that it worries me a little bit. I'm going to check on it, because this is like when a person gets so close to a decision they weren't even ready to make, because this is the problem too. This is the irony. Life keeps moving, and things keep progressing, and things keep intensifying. And if the person's emotionally ready or not, life keeps moving. And this is the frightening factor. Can I do this and take it back? He does this out of fear. Can I just take a break because I can't? No, you went too far. You can't. Okay, so that means I can never go back to what it was. That means I lose control. Yeah, it does. Wait, so then I'm vulnerable? I can't be vulnerable. I'm not ready for this. So this kind of thing worries me, this theme of his as well. As far as the marriage, this is the hard part is that the good part is that I do see that it is going to be intensifying in the near future with a desire. Right. And you're right on that. Your own intuition. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm reading the comment here. It says, I'm afraid to say, yeah, your feelings. You're not wrong in the way that you are perceiving his fear. Your closeness with him and your bond with him gives you the strength of knowing him, but it's your moon. It's that intuition that you have that knows a thing or two about what next step to take. And you're not wrong. You are right in kind of making him not afraid. You are very right in that because you're picking up on the fear, and that's what we're talking about here. You're doing a good job with that. What worries me is that there could be this oh shit moment, and then, we're going too fast. So I got to check on if he's going to flip on this, which it's not going to be too drastic, but I got to see what that is. And it could be right before you meet the kids. That could be that too. I'm surprised it didn't happen by Christmas, because there was one particular event where it almost aligned for all of that to happen, and it didn't. So with his cold feet, Now, the next topic that I see that we talked about is, let's talk about the marriage part. So I would say in the next couple of weeks, you're going to feel a more intensity with him wanting to marry you. But again, I see that there's something that's going to block that at first. Correct. You are correct in that. And what he's not saying to you is, I want you to move in, but I'm scared because if I'm not ready, I can't commit to that because that scares the shit out of me. And I've been thinking about the whole marriage thing, but you got to give me a chance because I don't know how that would feel for me. And I haven't even done all the other things I need you to do for this to know if this is even going to, work because of what they're going to think and what they're going to think of me. And that would be what to say. I'm probably doing a very rude, chopped up version of what he feels. I'm sure he feels it more poetically because he seems very romantic and very wordy, so I'm not doing a good job of, articulating that, but I'm just getting to the nitty gritty. That's what it would be. But again, the first thing would be moving in. Now, the next part is this has to be addressed. If you move in, okay, says this man to himself, if you move in, then you got to see all of me. And there's places and spaces and things that I'm not ready to show because I don't even see it. I can't even deal with myself. That's another problem in this particular situation. And if you did live there, check this out. If you did live there, which he wants you to, because he has a lot of issues that he switched addiction. His addiction is, exercise, right? Anyone that knows the psychology of addiction, they know that you cannot cure it. You can only switch it. His is eating healthy and going to the gym, which is good. But if he's living with someone and the emotion and uncomfortability is too much too soon, like that, he can turn to something else. And he knows that. And that's part of his fear. Did you know that? Having a break in his addiction. That would probably be healthy to bring up, but it would be dangerous too. So I guess maybe indirectly using a film, a novel, a story of a friend, very, very intelligently tiptoeing, you can do a lot of, sometimes when you deflect, not just that. He grabs onto his regimen and his routine for functioning, right? The relationship that he has with his regimen, he needs it He doesn't do it because it's fun. He needs it. It's what healed him from everything being a catastrophe. So if you are there all the time and you start to see him complete picture, because you're there like 75%, you've seen like 75% of his true raw self, but there's that 25% of his that he just can't, if it's too vulnerable. If he sees it, if you're there all the time and you get to know like 100%, then there's no way for him to plug out and just be on his own and feel like, okay, she's gone now, I could be myself a little bit, and then I'll gather myself, and then when she comes back, I could be the best with her. If there's none of that and there's too much cornering, he feels that, yes, that it's, he would either drink a lot or turn to things that he doesn't want to, because of that. Okay, so that's something that's really what the fear is. Let's just open it all up and talk about it the way it needs to be talked about. That is one of his biggest fears, is losing a sense of himself without being ready. Feeling like he is not in control, and the relationship with you would put you in control, because that's what being vulnerable and falling in love is. When two people are married, there's times one is the alpha and one is the beta, and then it switches. Okay, that one will be the beta and that one will be the alpha. That's a balanced relationship to the core. He's not ready for you to be in charge. You understand how scary that is? He's not ready. That's the problem. The sharing, the you knowing all the details, the you knowing all the things, that's frightening. That's what it's about. And he's also afraid of how he might just become what he doesn't want to be. Yeah. So, but I think if you understand what I'm saying, his fears are about him. So, but I think if you understand what I'm saying, his fears are about him being seen by you in a light that he doesn't want to be seen, like his vulnerable things that he doesn't want you to see. Okay, so you see him as a, I don't know, attractive, athletic, father, business guy, romantic, smart guy. And he is afraid you'll start to see him as an emotional disaster, a guy that makes financial fuck ups, a guy that really doesn't have everything straight, is not as smart as he wants you to see him to be, doesn't always have all the answer, does slack off, the whole thing, right? And that's what he just, it's difficult. Yeah, with some of his thoughts. Okay, that's a good thing. Give me 1 second. It's giving me a puzzle for me to verify. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So in perspective here, I think you are very correct in the way that you are very gentle and you're giving him his space. You're waiting on his steps. That's the best way to handle it if you want to continue, because we all know what happens when he gets spooked. Let me check on the spooking part. There is something all of a sudden. This is an emotional warning. Don't worry about what? Because there's money stuff, there's family stuff, there's moving in stuff, there's marriage stuff, there's kids stuff, there's future stuff, there's trust stuff, there's him showing him his true self stuff, his fears stuff. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is so complicated because it's a mind read. What are you getting at? Before you say anything about what? I think you should wait because the more you verbalize and vocalize, because Virgo's very determined, you know, I want this and I need to take this steps to make it, you know, and they're very direct, they're very forward, they're very organized, they're very analytical. This is why they make the best detectives, you know, them and Scorpio. But, you know, it's because of that. So your way of thinking, your perception and all of that, I think would rub him in a scary way. So I would say in this particular time, go with the flow. It's not your nature because in many ways you're patient and you do go with the flow, but in other ways you're like, hello, come on, that's that Aries. That Aries is very strong. I think that you will interrupt. So think about your relationship right now with him. Well, there's the technical aspect, which I could kind of debate back and forth a couple of points I don't like. But if we're going to judge the relationship that you have right now on an emotional, romantic level, let's think of a very calm lake. And then you take a pebble and you just bloop, and you're just going to see little wakes, right? Till you see a small wave. Don't do that. My suggestion, don't do that. You don't want the ripple effect. You don't want to interrupt and make him uncomfortable. I would say just go with the flow as flow can be. Like a sailboat, just riding the wind. For now. I feel that if you throw a pebble, the disruption is not comfortable, even if it's tiny. Now, warning. Emotionally, I see that very soon in the next 3 weeks or so, you know, you'd have to see when, but just to give you a time concept, I see that he may hurt your feelings with something. And I think that the something is when you put a lot of emotional belief and investment with a step that he says he's going to take. So let's say that he says to you, this is an example. Let's say that he says to you, okay, you know what? I really want to take a road trip with you, like just you and me. And, you know, the kids are going to be taken care of and blah, blah, blah. Let's just do 3 weeks together. Just an example. And you really put 100% of your mind, space, energy, heart, emotions in this road trip. And then you plan so much for it. It's amazing. And then all of a sudden he says, you know, I don't think it's a good time for it. So you're going to be okay, but it can pull at the heartstrings when you're not ready and give you that nauseous feeling. So all I'm trying to tell you is, besides all the points we're making in the reading, there's a small warning. Not a big deal, but it could be. It's just telling you that there could be something where you put a lot of, oh, I can't wait. And then he just, you know, it doesn't deliver. So this is just telling you to be very patient, to kind of take what he says like a grain of salt, kind of see how he, you know, progresses with what he's feeling and doing. And don't put too much into it because he's in a fear kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm afraid I don't I don't know. I don't know yet. Like, what am I doing? So he analyzes himself also in an unhealthy way, by the way. He's the kind of person that should stay away from caffeine. He is extra nervous, extra. He can be very positive for 3 days and then all of a sudden be very negative for another day. So there's something there to it. Okay. So again, I don't do anything clinical or medical, but there is some depressive tendency here. All right. So yeah, and that goes with the territory. So that's another thing where you're very short and direct and you're very just own your feelings. He's back and forth in multiple ways. All right. So that doesn't help. A person being indecisive and afraid, and then on top of that, you throw it like a chemical imbalance, and you add like this, depressive tendency. Yeah, that's not a good mixture. So that's why I'm saying that to you. Now, moving on. Yeah. Okay, so there's another thing going on, another layer of stuff going on is where he is noticing that you are extremely vigilant, all right, I should even say hyper vigilant, on his behaviors, because there's something brewing here that seeing if jealousy is a factor. So what do I mean by that? It means that he is going to be noticing that you are noticing that he might have a inappropriate tendency to look at inappropriate content, adult content online, if you understand what I'm saying to you. So he thinks you're looking at him, looking at stuff he shouldn't look at, but not exactly like that, not in a literal sense, but more like the feeling of, I wonder if the next drama is going to be that she's doubting, so this is what's not spoken of. And this again is just because he feels that this is the whole fear thing, like saying, okay, what if she's here all the time and we're inseparable? So am I ready for that? Because what if now every baby step that I do or everything that I do, I'm micromanaged because I feel that she thinks it, and I feel, because he's perceptive too. You're not the only intuitive one with him. He's intuitive with you as well, right? So this is another factor. So my question to you, which I don't ask questions during readings, but in this case, I'm comfortable with you enough where, you know where I'm coming from because I've read on him before. So my question to you is, are you giving him a vibe of, you might be jealous and you might be suspectful that he's looking at stuff? Is there something where he looks at you and thinks, because this, I remember, was a theme a couple of times when I read on him before. Very, very minimal, but I feel that there was, okay. So this theme is small as well. I don't think you should be bent about it. These are little things that happen. So think of it like, okay, you're getting a reading on how he feels and what he thinks. Okay, but no one feels the same thing every day constantly. There's an ebb and flow here. So these are little things that are going to be, maybe it'll be like half of 1 week coming up. It doesn't mean, oh my God, please worry and stress, this is going to be a problem. No, it's just something that is part of the story as it unfolds. So him thinking that you are thinking that he's looking, kind of thing. All right. So that theme also comes up. It has come up before, but this is, and it's pointing to something after an event. So what would that be? Where you go someplace together that's special, or it would be out of the home. So I don't know where you hang out, because I know you work a lot and I know that you spend a lot of time there, but this would be where you go someplace. So that's the clue here of that. Now, let me go in and ask something else here. Okay. All right. Let me tell you something else that's coming up, okay? I'm closing the reading, but it's not closed yet. There's going to be a situation. So we're outside of the mind part now, because the mind part, we have looked at all of his big themes. This is what the main part of the reading is. But in closing, this is, oh, thank you so much. Whatever that was, a heart. Thank you, family, 25. Okay, so the next thing that's coming up here is something you need to know. There's going to be another event popping up. So these are things just for you to emotionally prepare. Okay, so don't sit and worry or stress out. It's just little things, you know. You've gotten readings before, right? I'm very comforting. I guess I try to, like, I feel bad, like when someone's going, don't worry, you know. It's just, but I think you know the drill. When I mention something, it's just like, you know, once it passes, you know, you go on to the next day, the next emotion, the next whatever experience. So this is just a little bump in the road. It's talking about his ex-wife. This is just a little bump in the road. It's talking about his ex-wife. This is something that she's going to tell. It looks she's going to tell. She's going, and it's odd because the way that she expresses it, kind of like she's sharing the story, but at the same weird time, tampering it enough where she almost involves him, but doesn't. It's kind of weird. So she's going to tell him the story. This is very manipulative. So it's almost like she's going to tell him something she's going to invest money in, or something that she's going to do that takes money and planning. And there's an issue here because she makes it so that he becomes involved, and the way that he starts behaving with you, this becomes a rough point. So this is when the ex wants to cause waves, but at the same time, this is when he falls back into a pattern that he hates. So this is one of the problems that plagues this guy. All right. And I see that you're upset with him. So that is something you needed to know. All right. Like, again, this can be something that, you know, is very small. You already know how to handle a lot of things with him and stuff. But if it's coming up, I got to tell you. All right. So, one more thing. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. The reading just turned very rough. Okay. You want to talk about it? I don't want to upset you. So you can either, leave it at where I told you. And that's it. You got all the mind read and all the info. Or I could tell you the extra part. I went extra just because, we've worked together and, I just felt like you're a different type of client because we've done a lot of stuff, projects. So I understand that you want more of the big picture, but I'm seeing that the big picture might stress you. So I don't want to tell you information that's going to upset you or stress you. It's stressful. Yes, it's very stressful. So, I don't want to blurt it out if it's going to bring you internal stress. I think you also have the option of just taking the reading where I said it, like all the things, like the mind read part and everything we talked about. Remember, at the same token, though, remember what I've always told you with this story, that you're plugged into this story, but remember that there's another story too. That's a golden kind of like lining on the silver lining of that cloud. So you can't, like, just because this avenue has stress with it doesn't mean that you and your, future has stress in it. There's other happy things, But yeah, I do, yeah. Let me know. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Today is the 25th of December. So we're gonna look. We're looking a little bit further. So January, February, March. Let me give you a timeline. Okay. So probably like from here to maybe the end of March. Okay. So 3 months, something like that, 3-4 months. I don't think it'll reach the 4th month. So that's the time frame, all right? So all the things we talked about, so the mind read and then the themes that were going to come up. So, we already talked about those little bits and little pebbles and little things, it'll be a conversation, whatever. So after the fact, there's going to be a disruption to the ebb and flow of you guys because of his ex and all of that. It shows that there's going to be a situation later on where he is full of a lot of despair, and he's also stressing you out because you're seeing that you and him flow amazingly, and then all of a sudden he changes and his life gets complicated when he's pulled in a different direction. So you and him and his all fears and his thing, you can handle it and it's normal. But then comes the disruptor, and the disruptor is his old pattern with his ex and the relationship that is uncomfortable penetrating anything new. Indirectly, but it's still there, right? Even it's just not her knocking on his door wearing a glitter dress and red lipstick, but it's still the elephant in the living room. It's still annoying. It's still a friendship / relationship that you can't be a part of and you have no say. And then here comes the invasion of the flow that you have with him, right? Which is still invading. So it is real. And it does have weight and it does matter. So hence the topic of the ex comes in this story. Whatever it is that makes him less available to you at this point in time and more available to her. So this starts to unfold, and then he has to make a very strong decision, which is very odd. I don't know what that is, but it's coming in the reading like it's drastically, something just disrupts his normal of, no, I'll think about it later, I'll do it later. No, this is just like now. And I don't know what that is, but it's disruptive and it can cause a lot of problems with him and you. And you would think, how? You're quiet and nice and you just go with the flow. I understand. But you're also in Aries rising. And you're also very smart. So you're not going to sit there and just go with the flow and then be treated kind of like get the shitty end of the stick either. So even if you're very passive and you're not going to look for problems with him, it's still not okay. Something's going to be done that kind of have you sit there and says, what? That's not fair. What? Are you serious? That's what I don't like. And because of that, this also talks about him being very stingy. Now, that's fine. You've put up with a lot of things and financially you take care of yourself and all of that stuff. Fine. But there's still something with behavior that bothers you. You cannot ignore rude behavior. You cannot ignore preference. You can't ignore something that is not fundamentally emotionally okay. And this talks about unfair treatment. It talks about another argument. And then it talks about him abandoning you. And that is what is not okay. So I had a little worry in the beginning, because in the beginning he goes from very loving and kind and wanting all of these themes with you, which you will feel. You will continue to feel the bond and these themes being addressed. And, like I said, this is later. This is where turning like the tide. This is where if you go into this relationship or continue what you've got and you are very much on your toes and ready to not be shocked, you won't be shocked. If you go in it guarded, where you look at it instead of wanting to just, if you lock eyes with him and you ride that wave of that abstract, strong love, focus, passion kind of stuff, you might get lost with the emotion. If you look at it a little bit cynically and you look at it a little bit like, if he, you break it down into some math, you kind of make it like, okay, he's giving 20%, you'll give 20, and you step back emotionally a little bit, you're going to see that you're not shocked, you're not bothered, and you are not affected by this as much, because I don't think it would be fair for you emotionally to be abandoned again. So this means I need time alone, I got to think. This is a round 2 of that. Not the same way, because there were some enemies involved, and that's different now. There's been a lot of growth with that. But it's still him, saying, I can't. And then you're how much more deep in? How much, from now? So there's no way to do anything about it except the fact that you have to be, it's almost like, I don't know, any human relationship, whether it's platonic, whether it's romantic, whether it's whatever, how much are you going to give and wait, but then you're not going to ignore when you're, so this is difficult, because even if you're quiet and even if you quote unquote go with the flow, as we talk about, this still plays out. This is still him saying, I need time. So this is still in one way, shape, or form, it's an emotional abandonment. It's like saying, maybe we should take a break, or maybe we should see each other once a week, or maybe, a couple of times a month. It's too much. I can't right now. That's still not okay for you to hear. And that's what I'm trying to prepare you for emotionally, so that you are not in that vulnerable place anymore. So you are not feeling like you were used. So that you realize that you're trying a lot, but you don't want to emotionally visit that. Now, here's the good part. That's the hard part. And here's the good part. I already told you that there's a very, very golden silver lining to that cloud. I already told you that we already know there's a very happy path on its way. But I respect that you want to try your hardest with this one, and I understand that too. And this one's not over, and just because he does that doesn't mean that's over either. There's been a lot that is still at play that holds you both, besides still at play that holds you both, besides the love and everything else. So I'm not telling you this to tell you if it's gloom and doom. I'm trying to tell you this so that you are never vulnerable and hurt to the level that you were, because you don't deserve that. So you will know how to deal with him differently. You will know how to manipulate the situation differently. You will know what chess move to make, and you are not out in the cold emotionally. This is not the end of the story, but it's a rough read because it's going to go from very intense romantic intentions and talking about very delicate themes to going into cold feet more, to going into some distance more, to going into, oh, by the way, I need a break, you know? So if you're ready, you're ready. And you also have to think about the rest of your romantic life and the things that destiny has for you, which some are beautiful. So don't feel negative. It's just that this connection is difficult, not impossible, but there's more for you if this doesn't work. But I know we don't want to talk about that. I know you just want to talk about him, and that's fine. Is there anything else I can clarify for you? I feel, I'm sorry, on a holiday, it's a little bit rough, but you've been through worse. And this is not, it's rough, but it's also very doable, especially with someone patient like you and someone that knows him very well. And you're still in the open door with him. So you got to think about that too. You have a lot of power emotionally and romantically because you're in a good standing with him right now. You're on the inside. Okay, so what's on his mind right now is the moving in and all of the worries that talk about the moving in. I would say that one, and then out of all the things we talked about, I think that in the hierarchy of like what's most important, I think the second one would be the fact that he doesn't know how to express that he's having depressive tendencies as well. I think those would be like, if we had to put it in rank, those would be the two most important. All right? All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas. You'll be okay. There's always, it's not all bad. All right? It's just rough. But it's not bad. All right, sweetheart? Okay, take care. Hey, guys, I'm sorry I can't read and read. So if you guys ask me something, I'll go back and look at the comments. I'm sorry it frustrates people, but I can't do everything at once. Let me see if I missed some comments here. Let's see. I have to go all the way up here. Let's see. Oh, I think my stomach's crumbling. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Did I miss anything anybody wrote? I think I'm good. Oh, let's see. Crystal was asking how much is a reading. All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. There's yelling outside. All right, guys. I'll try to hop back in, and I'll be in tomorrow as well. Merry Christmas, guys. Bye.